Emoni Bates is quite literally the most interesting player in this draft. Emoni was touted as the #1 player in the country since 6th grade going all the way up to high school. Of course, with COVID, things in 2020 was a lot different than things normally would have been in the world. COVID also affected things like the NBA draft and college eligibility. Emoni Bates decided to commit to Michigan State in 2022, but after his season at his new school in 2021, he decided to decommit from Michigan State and eventually end up at Memphis to play for Penny Hardaway. However, he wasn't happy with how he was utilized, so he entered the draft portal and decided to attend Eastern Michigan. Little did Emoni know, this is the point in time that would change his trajectory forever. Emoni failed to stop at an intersection which led him to being arrested for having a concealed weapon. He got hit with a felony charge but managed to get it dropped, but he would have to do 18 months probation in return. After his team did not have a great season, only mustering out 8 wins out of 30 total, Emoni declared for the NBA 2023 draft. Now obviously, if this was 2 years ago, Emoni would have probably been lauded as a top 5 pick or a lottery pick. Because of course people saw his 6'10" frame and compared him to KD just like everybody else does with the same frame he has. He was also touted as the best high school prospect since LeBron. However, a big shocker happened on draft night. Emoni would see himself drop from the first round entirely and ending up in the late second round. The Cavaliers saw that he was still on the board at 49th overall and selected him there. The young player's had a great summer league so far. His scoring has been really good and he has dropped multiple 15+ point games in the summer league and has shown that he hasn't lost his shooting touch. His playstyle reminds me oddly enough of Carmelo Anthony, someone who has a quick trigger and can be a high volume shooter. Carmelo's one of the best scorers of the basketball we have ever seen, and I do believe that Emoni can be a 20 points per game scorer in his career and fit nicely next to Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. The Cavaliers lost against the Knicks in 5 games heavily due to the lack of shooting and spacing. Emoni can come in and fill that role nicely on this Cavs team. I do think he has a lot to develop in his game, but I will go over that in the summer league section of this video. So let's talk about it, but before we do, please hit the like button, subscribe, and turn those post notifications. Let's get into it. Emoni has played in a bunch of summer league games so far, including the championship against the Rockets. I will talk about this game against the Rockets and also the game against the Grizzlies as well. Firstly, I do want to say his shooting capabilities are elite, but I do worry about his mechanical skills and also his movement. He looks a little stiff with the ball in his hand and his movement looks a little clunky, which this can hurt his ability to create his own shot and getting to the basket. But similar to Brandon Miller, once he actually gets on the actual roster, he won't have to worry as much as to create his own shot. Donovan Mitchell takes a lot of attention away, which would allow Emoni to have a lot more one-on-ones, which he would take that to the bank and cash it right away. So with that being said, let's get into the first play. On this play, Emoni is at the top of the key preparing to backpedal for the transition defense, but he notices his teammate gets the ball back. He runs down the lane, but he notices his teammate in the dunker and dumps it down for a nice pass for the slam. This next play comes quick, so don't blink it or you'll miss it. His teammate comes up the court and spots Emoni on the corner wing. He swings the ball to Emoni, who immediately pulls over for the quick 3-pointer and he splashes it. Tell me right now that didn't remind you of Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo wouldn't care that you are right in front of him, he wants you to show him that you can stop him. I get the same vibe from Emoni. Show me that you can stop me from pulling up in your face or I'll continue to do it. His anticipation is also really good. Here he brings the ball up the court. He pauses because he sees the lane open up before his teammate is even there. He throws a nice entry bounce pass behind the defender, which gets caught by his teammate for the easy slam. Talk about what his role will be on the team going forward, and I think that would be a 3-point specialist, catch and shoot kind of guy, until he can develop his handle a little more. This play shows what I mean. He's sitting in the corner on this play. His teammate swings the ball to the corner and Emoni notices that his man that is guarding him slides down to the paint. In the Kobe Buffkin video, we talked about how this is a big no-no for defenders. If you are caught too low in the paint, a good 3-point shooter will make you pay. Emoni immediately throws his hands up to signal to pass it to him. His teammate obliges and Emoni knocks down the 3-pointer. This next play shows the kind of clunky movement Emoni has that I mentioned before. Off of a steal, Emoni scoots the ball up and pushes the pace up the court in transition. It almost looks like he's running in slow-mo, but he does a nice fake pass to finish at the rim with a layup in the and-1. This next play also shows what I mean when I say he will struggle to create his own shot early on. Here he gets the matchup he wants on a smaller defender. He does a nice move to get the defender to change his stance, but his step out of the move just isn't explosive enough to get him around the defender. Emoni does chuck up this Hail Mary, but it does go in. However, this is an area I want him to develop in because, like stated before, I think this guy can be a great scorer in his career, but that won't happen if he doesn't take the time to develop that part of his game. Now on to the Grizzlies game. There are only 2 plays I want to talk about so I don't sound too redundant. Emoni's a 6'10" wing with a 6'9" wingspan. I will say Emoni does move laterally a little clunky, but he uses his arm nicely to block shots and stuff defenders at the rim. Here on this play, in transition, the Grizzlies try to push the pace, but they have to slow down the defense. The ball handler does a nice up fake to make the Cavs defender jump and drive towards the basket. Emoni shuffles his feet to get a good position and holds his hands up to stop the defender's movement entirely without fouling. On the next play, Emoni is one-on-one on defense. He does do a good job staying in front of him, but the ball handler does a nice cross to get past Emoni. However, Emoni uses his arm length to recover for the nice block at the rim. So in all, I have high hopes for Emoni. Offensively, he has the tools to be the high volume scorer that I think he could be. I'm just afraid of the other stuff. When his shot isn't falling, what does he have to offer the team? That will be a question the Cavs will have to figure out in the long term. Now I do want to mention, because I know I'll see in the comment section, yes, I am judging Emoni Bates, but I do not have the same expectations from him like some of the other players I've covered, because the Cavs uses late second round pick on him versus the top 5 or lottery selection. Unfortunately for higher ranked players, your expectation to make an instant impact is a lot higher, i.e. Brandon Miller. Brandon has a lot to work on, but he won't have the time to by the media because he was selected 2nd overall. I do think that Emoni next to Donovan Mitchell and Garland will be a scary sight and makes the Cavs drastically better than they were before. If you do agree with that take or disagree, please let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. If possible, dropping a like and subscribing would be great, and it helps me push this video out to more people in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you and peace out.